Okay, so we have just finished up the electric motor install from Electric Yachts. Uh, this thing is so cool. It was a pretty unique experience pulling out a 600-pound engine and then basically just me carrying on the electric motor. That was pretty weird and honestly convenient after dealing with that big heavy monster, just to walk it right on myself and drop it right in place without any mechanical leverage. So that was pretty neat. The whole process took us about a week and a half, and we just finished that up, so we're going to jump back in time a little bit to the beginning and start there. Definitely recommend this. We still need to do a sea trial and see how the boat is going to perform and see if we need to upgrade our propeller. But so we're going to jump into it and enjoy the video. This is the electric motor that's going to be replacing our 50-year-old diesel engine. The motor's from Electric Yacht. Super excited about this upgrade. This is going to make the biggest difference out of anything that we do on the boat. They sent us a battery charger, control panel, throttle, and some mounting brackets, Class T fuses, battery shutoff, hardware, some more mounting brackets and hardware in there, and then a current sensor, since we'll be using a generator and maybe eventually solar to charge this thing back up. But yeah, super small compared to the giant diesel engine, but it's going to make a big difference. Today we're going to start the process of pulling out the engine. So the engine on this boat is in here. So what I'm going to do to make this easier, move the ladder, take off all this paneling. There should just be 4 bolts holding it down, and then we'll have to disconnect fuel lines and a few other odds and ends. Here you can see the engine cover. This whole cover lifts off and you can just put it aside, but you can see there's 4 bolts, 1 on each corner, holding the engine down. And then we had to take the shaft coupler bolts off. You can see those right here. Those were kind of seized up, so it took a little work. Before we lifted the engine out, I took off all of the cabinets around to make things a little easier. All right, so we've got all the doors off of here. You can see the old Perkins there. It's seen better days. Okay, today I'm pulling out the engine. I've got a little bit of help. I'm on my way to the boat right now, but I've got some guys to come help me. The game plan is to use the boom, and then I've got a chain hoist from Harbor Freight, which was pretty inexpensive, and we will use the boom and the chain hoist to lift it out and then swing it over into the dinghy. We do have an inflatable dinghy, so what I've done to kind of hopefully help us from popping the dinghy or poking a hole in it, I bought some really big totes, plastic totes, that we'll put in the dinghy, and then that will hopefully stop the dinghy from popping and going flat with a 500-pound engine in it. Normally what you would do is put the swing it over onto the dock and just wheel it off on a cart, but our current dock setup is really narrow, and you know, it's just not going to work. So we've got to go the dinghy route, which is okay, but it's taken a little bit of planning. So yeah, that's where we're at today. Okay, so we've got all the bolts out. The shaft coupler bolts are out. So now I'm going to get some straps around this guy, and then we will start to pull it out. Gonna use my main halyard here, and I'll tie a nice bowline around this to support the middle part of the mast, or I'm sorry, of the boom, and then try to maneuver it out of this hole over the side and into the dinghy. Okay, so yesterday we ran into some issues getting the engine out. No matter what angle we turned it, we would always be hitting this. So we discovered that the engine was put in first, and then this sort of cap was put on here, and it's bolted down everywhere, and then the floor on the inside of the boat, the cabin sole, is put on top of that. So really the only option is for us to cut this out and then just to rebuild it afterwards. Which was part of the plan anyway. It just involves undoing all of this mess of electrical wire, which we needed to do anyways as well. There's no, like, once you get into this, it just spreads like wildfire, which is normal. Yeah, we'll just go easy with it. Okay. Once we got the engine out, you could really see how much grease and grime was left behind. This was a pretty dirty, greasy, filthy job. It took us a little bit to actually get the engine into the dinghy, trying to figure out the safest way to go. Once you have a heavy engine hanging over the side of the boat likes to heel a little bit. So we got it in, and then got it in the dinghy, and we called a tow truck to just pull it out. That was the easiest way. With everything out of the way, it was time to scrub the bilge and paint, and man, what a difference this made for smell, for looks. Yeah, huge difference here. Now's definitely the time to do this. Up next, I started building some battery boxes. This will be different for each boat. There's kind of different spots where you could put batteries. In our boat, there only seemed to be just one spot where it would work, and that's right in front of the motor. And it's actually quite close to the electric motor, so we just barely fit 4 batteries in. I try to keep everything so that the weight was even. We didn't have all 4 batteries on one side of the boat, so it'd be listing to one side. So yeah, I built one big battery box and then these 2 smaller ones, and eventually you'll see that I had to go back to the drawing board and just take these boxes back apart and build another box, which just has all 4 batteries side by side. Next, we jump into some wiring. I bought these crimpers on Amazon. Everything was, pretty affordable. I decided to save a little bit of money by buying one big spool of red wire, and then buying heat shrink for the negative. So I'd have very little waste, and it actually worked out really well. It's one extra step of just adding heat shrink over the whole wire. But it's definitely worth it. I had my helper helping out here. She was quite a bit of help, as you can see. I tried to do as much wiring at home as I could and utilize the countertop. Otherwise, you're kind of pinning it in between your knees, and it's a lot easier with a countertop. So wired up the positive bus bar here, and then the negative bus bar was a little simpler to do on the boat. Here is the wiring diagram. Pretty simple setup. Here's what was included from Electric Yachts. You have the electric motor, brackets, control panel, throttle, more mounting brackets, Class T fuse, battery switch, hardware, and a current sensor, and of course the cover. Man, what a difference in size and weight from this electric motor and the old 600-pound diesel engine. I was able to just easily lower it into place by hand, by myself. Once I got it lined up, I marked the holes, drilled holes in the aluminum brackets here, and then just bolted everything down. Super simple setup here. Not a whole lot to go wrong. Just make sure your bolts are tight and lined up, and everything should be good. Okay, today I got in the battery boxes. Took a little bit of figuring out. The original boxes I built didn't quite work out, so went back to the drawing board. We're going to do all four side by side. I had originally planned a U shape, but that's just not going to work without cutting out too much fiberglass. I don't really want to get into all that, just to have it look a certain way. So this is going to look just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting the batteries in and start wiring everything up. Batteries put in. Last night I ran all of the positive cables. They're connected, and then what the game plan is, I'll drill some holes and then run the wires from the backside up and then connect them all individually to the T-class fuse, and then they'll all go onto a bus bar. Power will flow through here and then go to the motor. I'm also going to do a negative bus bar somewhere in here as well. I have to figure out exactly where, because I also have a big battery charger to fit in here as well. So that is the game plan. Just going to try a little dry fit, see where this all fits. I painted yesterday, so everything looks nice and shiny. But yeah, and then we'll have this is a 100 amp hour lithium battery, super small and compact. Looks like I'll have room for another one if I decide that we need more 12 volt power. But we should have plenty of 48 volt power, I'm hoping. So yep, gonna go ahead and I'll set up a time lapse and we'll get all this stuff hooked up. Okay, so here's what we have going on as far as wiring. So we've got 4 batteries here. The yellow cables are ground. These are black. I'm waiting on some heat shrink to go over those, so everything will be, ground will be yellow, and positive or hot will be red. And so it all goes into this little cabinet here, and I'm going to build a door for this so it won't be seen. But so everything comes in here, so you can see the yellow cables coming in, and then these are the black ones that I'll have to take off and do yellow on as well. So all of the hot is coming in. They're all fused with Class T fuses into this bus bar. Goes up through this other main Class T fuse, battery shut off, and then this will go to the motor. The ground for the motor is this one going straight through, and then you can see that one go back there. It's not hooked up yet. I'm going to go ahead and hook up the rest of the controls But this is the bulk of the wiring. It's not too bad. Just takes a little bit of time to get it neat, so that you can see where everything goes. Battery charger, I didn't go over that. That comes down through a current sensor, through the current sensor, and then it has a fuse, goes up to the main power, and then it would go back to the batteries and charge the batteries. So that's the bulk of the wiring. Pretty simple, but yeah, there it is. After all of the wiring, we started to install the monitor here. It's pretty self-explanatory. Get it straight, drill a couple holes, and then I used Sikaflex here. You can use butyl tape if you want to. This is just what I had, so that's what I used. Put the screws in, and then cleaned up the Sikaflex from around the top. And then I added a little more just to kind of seal around the edges. Here is the throttle. This was pretty simple. Depending on your old throttle, you may have to cut 2 holes here. Mine had a big hole, so I just took a jigsaw and made it just a little bigger. But what made this easier was drilling 1 hole and screwing in with screw, so it held everything in place, and then I could go around and drill, pre-drill all of the holes, and that made it a lot easier to do by myself. So, and then cleaned up my mess, all my fiberglass, and then sealed everything with Sikaflex, and put it all back together. Okay, here's how you hook up the throttle. So you can see this is a 6-pin male. Then you find the 6-pin female and just connect those, and then twist it tight, push it together, then twist it, lock it in. Okay, so the instructions say to route the main battery cable to the A1 terminal. So this is A1. I'm going to take it off, put the battery cable on. Should say the main battery switch is off. There is 1 wire on there already. The instructions say to put the battery cable on first, then put this back on. Okay, so the instructions say to hook up the ground from the battery to the B minus. You can see it there. It's on the front port side of the motor. So I'm going to take this off and then connect the ground there. Here's a final look at all of the finished wiring. Everything came out so good, so nice and neat. Everything looks so clean. Super happy with how all the wiring came out. We have got the Electric Yacht system fully wired up and operational, and I love this thing. I'm excited to take it out and test out what kind of numbers we get, range, Gotten tons of questions about range, and I have no doubt we'll hit hull speed. We may end up upgrading props. We'll just see what kind of numbers we get. But I'm going to turn the system on, and we'll run through minimum RPMs, which I've been able to get it as low as 400, which is not really something you can do with a diesel. So if you're sailing along and you want to boost, your range, you just kick it on a little bit, and it'll help you move along. We do that a lot on charters. Yeah, I'm gonna bump it up. It's about 500 RPMs. Can't even really hear it. If you do hear some noise, we still have the engine cover off, so it will be louder, and the phone picks up louder audio than what your ears hear. So you may hear a little bit of noise, but just keep that in mind. So we're gonna bump it up. That's right at 1,000 RPMs, about 1,300. The boat's moving in the slip pretty good. 1,500 RPMs, 1,600, 1,800, 2,000. Then we'll go full RPMs with the prop that we have, and that is 2,200 RPMs. You can see the water moving around behind us. Okay. And then we'll go back to neutral, and then the dock lines will ease. So yeah. Like I said, the phone audio picks up a lot more noise than what what I'm hearing. I've taken a couple of these videos and I go back and watch it. I'm like, man, that's way different than what I'm hearing. But so just keep that in mind. And also the engine cover is off. So when everything's installed, the engine cover is installed. Should be super quiet. It is 10 times quieter than the diesel engine already. If I had been at full throttle with the diesel, with the engine cover off, you wouldn't be able to hear what I was saying. Yeah, super excited about this. Most excited about the low maintenance side of things, not having to refuel, and then range. We can boost our range with a little suitcase generator, Honda generator, and that will help us go further if we need to. But I think the batteries that we have should be more than enough for us. Yeah, so sea trial is going to be its own video, so stay tuned for that. And we'll end this one here. Yeah, thanks for watching. Follow along if you want to see the rest of the Schooner redesign, rebuild, refit, whatever you want to call it. We're pretty much redesigning this boat, so it's going to look a lot different, and sound a lot different, and sail a lot different than the original boat. So all in a good way. So yeah, stick around if you want to see that process, and thanks for watching.